Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here, and today I'm here to bring you guys a Bleach Chapter 565 prediction. And it's been a minute since I actually uploaded a video. I mean, probably like a month plus. So I took a little nice break from YouTube, got away from it for a little bit. I'm sorry I didn't inform some of you guys out there, a lot of you guys out there that, I was going to take a little bit of a break. But, I'm back now. I've actually been working on a manga recently. Now, I'm not sure exactly when we'll release that, but I'm hoping that it'll be out within the next 2 months or so. But anyway, to get onto this week's Bleach chapter and talk a little bit about the previous one, I have to just say Renji for the win. I mean, Renji, I actually never expected him to be coming into this arc that beast. I mean, of course you expect Renji to do something, but I'm thinking if you did Renji this injustice, I'm expecting two characters in particular to get justice from this point on, Kubo. Well, of course, Rukia, because I love Rukia, one of my favorite characters. And then, on top of that, give this man Chad something better, man. I mean, he has his full ring. Help him improve or something. I want Chad to at least get a decent fight in this final arc. Something, a little bit better than what he's been doing. So, anyway, to jump further into basically, this chapter, the chapter starts off, kind of where the previous one left off, with us seeing, Renji. Of course, he went Bankai. We don't see it just yet when the chapter starts, but we do see, the skull of his Bankai, and then of course, the masked Quincy. He's just kind of like, whatever, like I guess you ended up using your Bankai shortly before death. And then that's when, of course, we see a flashback of basically Renji and his training during the whole time he was up in the royal palace. And he's like, he heals Zabimaru, and basically Ichibei tells him, like, well, I'm not sure how to actually tell you this, but that's actually not his real name. It's basically been playing you. So Renji's looking like, the heck? What do you mean it's been playing me? He's like, see, here's the thing. I know all of the names of things in Soul Society because basically I named everything. And I even named Zanpakuto themselves, and basically your Zanpakuto didn't tell you its name because it didn't feel like you were a warrior, which I feel like, dang, way to be dissed by your Zanpakuto. It's just like, yeah, man, you're not at my level, or, you ain't ready yet, which I know Renji kind of seemed a little bit surprised about the fact that or not even a little, but he seemed really shocked, that Zabimaru did that. Didn't tell him anything. But I would be more mad than surprised. I'd be like, you mean to tell me all those times I was knocking on death's door, and we could have actually maybe came out and won this? You just held back on me, kind of like, like his Zanpakuto not telling him his name. I mean, one, it's kind of similar to Ichigo and the fact that you know, um, one of the Zangetsus, the one that looks like Juhabak, didn't tell him the truth about his power. But it also kind of reminds me of Yumichika calling his Zanpakuto by a different name. So, in a sense, I think that actually can be a little bit cool. The fact that it seems like Zanpakutos, depending on what you call them, can have alternate forms. So, I mean, I would actually take advantage of that if I were like Shinigami. If I had a Zanpakuto and I knew it could switch up a little bit based on the way I call it, I think that's a pretty cool thing. But of course, Ichibei tells him, all right, like as of now, you actually are ready to hear your Zanpakuto's name. You're a warrior now. So of course, he goes ahead and tells him that, and then we see, of course, Renji go ahead and say his Bankai's name, and we see an epic double page of Renji holding his Bankai. It's much smaller than it was before, which I actually like it. And instead of he heals Zabimaru, it's now called I think it was Soso Zabimaru. So that was pretty cool. I like its form. Like I'm having a hard time deciding if I like it better. Now I like, it's not like super fancy, but I feel like it looks like it's more effective than what Renji had going before. Because remember, with the whole long Bankai he had, I mean, people could avoid that, smack it away, and it's pretty much done. And on top of that, even though it could, separate and reconnect, it just seemed like it was really clumsy. When he would use it, or it wasn't very accurate. Like I feel like if maybe he had to attack someone from long range, kind of like, okay, I'm gonna switch forms for right now because of my opponent's a distant, like it's kind of like a distance from me, it would be kind of effective. But as far as like if you're having a full scale battle with someone, I feel like it's kind of one of the easier bankais to avoid. But now looking at it, I feel like for what Renji can do, again, it's more effective. You see how he has a sword that's actually coming out of the skull, which I like that appearance. It kind of reminds me of Omnimon from Digimon. I don't know if anybody remembers Omnimon back in the day, Digimon. But I remember Omnimon used to have this sword that came out of Wargreymon skull, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of that. So, of course, Renji goes beast mode on this dude. We see one of the arms, basically it's like the shape of a baboon's arm, but it has like you can see like its fingers are exposed, so you just see bone like fingers. And he just grabs freaking the masked Quincy, squeezes him, and then of course he ends up escaping. And then Renji, I can't remember the exact thing he did next because I'm not looking at the chapter right at this instant, but I believe that was when Renji went ahead and used his special move. I forgot what the exact name was. I know it ended in Teppo, and he runs in, stabs him, and it's some kind of burning exploding move, because I think it's somewhat like a variation of the baboon cannon that he had, where he would shoot, it would like shoot a beam from it, when he had the other alternate version of his bankai that he heals Abimaru, except this is like kind of a close range thing. And basically it cuts and burns the dude just in like the two pieces. And of course Renji, he had to get his little badass line in, since this is probably, I don't know if this is going to be his only badass moment in the war, but this is probably one of the, probably one of his final badass moments. In fact, I'd rather just go ahead and quote it verbatim now that I have it in front of me. He's like, this is the classic case of burning yourself out. Kick back, relax now, Mr. Superstar. So I found that kind of funny, since he was all about being a superstar and all that. He just, incinerated him on, maybe not on some Yamamoto type stuff, but it was still pretty cool. Now, as far as what I think is going to happen in the next week's Bleach chapter, all right, I think that, I mean, Renji's moment is, it seems like it's kind of done, but I'm hoping that Rukia gets confronted. I'm kind of hesitant to say that she's going to get confronted right now, only because, Rukia and Renji sort of right now came as a pair. So I kind of feel like, Kubo's like with showing Renji have a badass moment, he's kind of handled that moment now. So we'll probably see a little bit of Renji next week, like maybe him after he ends the fight, maybe putting away his Bankai's sword. But he's probably going to go ahead and try to focus on some other characters in Soul Society. And I don't think Rukia is going to get her fight right here, right now. We may start seeing some of them start to overtake. I think Juha Baka is going to take notice to one of the Quincy's fading away. So that may be the next thing that comes up, is that maybe he sends someone else out. Like, okay, or some of the other Quincy's are going to notice. Wait a minute. Old dude is gone. So obviously Renji's going to be a threat now, so they're going to probably send someone after him, which, maybe someone else will intercept that opponent, but I think that's going to be more or less what the focus of next week's chapter is. So if we do see Rukia, maybe, that'll be the case, but I'm expecting when Rukia does get a moment, it'll be pretty cool. I liked how they had her as the actual cover page this week, the color page. It's pretty cool to see her on there. And I'm hoping that she actually got her Bankai while she was up there, because since this guy knows all the names of Zanpakuto, I mean, granted, I'm assuming that he probably only tells somebody that, like basically in the circumstance like he did with Renji, like when he really feels like they, have deserved it at this point or whatnot. But I mean, I'm thinking like, shoot, if you can power up Rukia, just by telling her, I mean, and whether or not you really, think she's quote unquote ready to hear it, I feel like just give it to her, man. I mean, you guys are in dire straits right now. If everybody can get their Bankai, give it to them, because I really do want to see her step up her game in this final arc. And I definitely think she did, considering the fact that they kind of, I think when her and Renji came down, they basically compared them, as some of the most powerful people that showed up at that moment. So I'm looking forward to see what happens from this point forward, like I've always been. But I'm thinking that that's probably going to be the next thing. Probably see some more people in Soul Society. Maybe see where Ichigo is at. Maybe at the end of this next week's chapter. And if not that, maybe the Fullbringers, because I think Kubo is going to try to throw us a few more curveballs, probably coming up very soon. Like Kubo may make you think usually that we're heading a steady path, maybe as far as storyline goes, but then always likes to throw in something maybe you didn't expect, which I like it when writers do that. So as far as my rating this week goes, I feel like it was a really good chapter, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it. I'm not sure. I don't want to give it Royal Guard status. It's a little bit too high, but I'm gonna give it like Vizard status. I feel like it's worthy of that. I mean, especially since Renji did what the Vizards couldn't do, which don't even get me into that. Considering the fact they have hollow powers and they've been captains for years, but I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, this is gonna be a Vizard level chapter. So let me know what you guys think about this week's chapter. Don't forget to go ahead and comment down below and rate this video, and for future reference, guys, if I do decide to take a break for a little bit, I'll make sure to let you guys know. But I probably won't be taking a break from YouTube for a long time, anytime soon from now on. I mean, I obviously missed YouTube. That's why I came back. And I never planned on leaving permanently or anything like that. I just needed a little bit of time, as far as to get away, and didn't exactly know when I would be back. But anyway, I'll see you guys next week, and that's pretty much the end of this video.